Plymouth, Michigan, is it expensive? I get that question a lot. When I'm looking into an area, cost of living is both super important and also not easy to find data on. So if you're considering a job here in Southeast Michigan, coming from a different state or coming from a different area in Metro Detroit, that's what we're gonna cover today. Michigan versus Plymouth versus national. If you're looking for another city, subscribe, as this is a series we're going to be continuing. My name is Mike Perna. I'm a local real estate agent here in Metro Detroit. Give me a call anytime when you're ready to start the house hunting process. We've got your back all the way through to the closing. You're going to want to be sure to watch this whole video because we're going to be covering demographics, housing costs, rental costs, taxes, utilities, and a night out on the town. First things first, Plymouth is a pretty small town versus some of the surrounding cities. Plymouth, the city and township combined, is the 74th most populated city in the state versus like a Livonia, which is just a few miles away of just over 95,000 people. Plymouth definitely has the small town feel on lock. Now, the median household income in Plymouth is $95,840, which is 33% higher than the median annual income of $63,000 for the entire state. The average household income in Plymouth is $129,000, and for people that are between 25 and 44 years old, it's $106,000, while those between 45 and 64 years old, it's $121,000. Plymouth has been ranked here in Michigan and nationally as one of the top places to live by a myriad of publications, including Smart Asset, who ranked Plymouth 13th in the nation across 11 metrics, including home affordability, job opportunities, quality of healthcare, and more. Backgroundchecks.com ranks Plymouth in the top 20 in the nation, and Reviews.com has it in the top 100 safest cities routinely, year in and year out. So now let's dig into the cost of living, starting with what it costs to buy a home in Plymouth. That is the most common question I get from clients. Starting with the average home in Plymouth is going to be around $470,000, which is up 8.6% over the last year. Now, it's a bit under the national average of $492,000, but way above the state of Michigan average of $278,000. Against the national average, Plymouth is looking kind of affordable for an upscale area in Michigan. A $470,000 purchase price with a 7% interest rate and a down payment of 20% for a frame of reference is going to end up being $2,502 per month. Here locally, it's more expensive than neighboring Canton to the south at $352,000, but less than Northwood the North with an average home sales price of $535,000. Now, if you're looking to rent in Plymouth, a 2-bedroom apartment about 900 square feet is going to run you roughly $1,200 per month, which is lower than the national average of $1,702. For Southeast Michigan, it's not high, it's not low, kind of in the middle. Novi to the north, for example, is higher at $1,800 a month for a 2-bedroom, but it's higher than Redford and Westland to the east at an average of $1,100 per month. Now, that said, single-family home rentals for a 3 or a 4-bedroom runs about $2,483 on average per month. So even though it's about $20 more per month to buy versus rent, with the mortgage interest deduction plus what you're gaining in equity, buying is still financially the best option. And the prices really do vary when it comes to either buying or renting here. So what kind of homes are you going to find in Plymouth? Now, that depends on where exactly in the city or township you're looking. There are some spot new builds here and there close to downtown, and some older homes that are beautifully redone. When you go west to Sheldon Road over here, it's mainly subdivisions and very, very similar builds. Here's a home at the Plymouth average that sold this year. Now, this is a gorgeous bungalow, walking distance to downtown, and scope out that kitchen. It was 1,541 square feet on 0.19 acres, which is a typical lot for downtown. And by typical, I mean like tiny, like those lots are small. Now, because I love beautiful homes, I mean, who doesn't watch HGTV? This one is the most expensive home sale over the last year. It went on the market at $1.12 million and sold $130,000 above asking price at $1.25 million. It has a 4-car garage, an amazing kitchen, walkout basement, pool, over 4,300 square feet, and it's in Country Acres, which is a neighborhood way over between Ridge and Napier right here on the map. And it's 0.7 acres, a huge lot. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, this is the least expensive home sale in Plymouth this year at $170,000, but it's still super cute. With these, they make great rentals, and investors during the crash back in 2008 and 9 scooped up a ton of these across the area. Next up, let's talk food. So groceries, we all gotta eat, and frankly, Plymouth ain't very big, but there are some good options, and the price is gonna range wildly depending on if you're going to a larger grocery store or more of a boutique store market. All right, so here are your mainstays. Let's get that map on the screen. We've got Bush's, which is a local to Michigan grocer, much like a Kroger, but not so much like a Meijer, aka there's like no clothes or shoes or anything like that there. Kroger's also here on Ann Arbor Road, and then Westbourne Market is here on Penniman, which are starting to get a little more boutique and a little more expensive. And then way over here on Haggerty Road, barely in Plymouth at all, is Cantoro's. It's very niche and has a fantastic restaurant attached. For Targets, because we all just need one thing sometimes, I walk out with 50, there are 3 of them close by. In Livonia here, Canton here, and again in Livonia a little further away here. So let's break down some costs. Bread. The average for a loaf in Plymouth is $2.35. For the United States is $3.17, or in Plymouth 35% less. A gallon of milk is $2.50 per gallon versus nationally at $3.83, or over 50% less. But chicken is where they really get you. It's about $1 more per pound here in Plymouth than the national average. Now, if you get your gains in like I do, that adds up fast. I mean, I personally go through a lot of chicken. Overall, the United States is about 4.8% more expensive as far as groceries go than Plymouth. All right, let's get into utilities. Everything is, of course, going to depend on the size of the home, the size of the family, and how you use it, of course. Some people like to crank up the heat and crank down the AC, but on average with DTE Energy, the electric bill in Plymouth is going to be about $110 per month. Now, it's more than the Michigan average at $95 per month and a little less than the national average at $115 per month. For me personally, in the winter, my electric bill is a little closer to $250 per month, but then I also put up like 20,000 Christmas lights. Onto the gas bill. Now, most homes here have furnaces that run on natural gas, and the average there is going to be $119.75 per month. For internet, there are plans I found as low as $50 per month, but it's frankly pretty stripped down. 75 to 120 is the going rate, give or take, which is right in line with the national average. Now, if you're above it, like $170 or $190, call to see if there's a deal, or frankly, just get your internet from somewhere else. Internet with cable then takes you to about $200 per month, but if you're like me, a Netflix or Apple TV or Disney is just fine versus cable. Last, of course, is paying for city water. Now, I'm told about 80% of homes per the city sit between $29 and $92 per month, and this, of course, depends on if you water your lawn a ton or you have somebody like my sister that takes 3-hour showers. Oh my God, the bathroom was like never available growing up. Total, you're looking somewhere between $355 on the low side or $527 on the high side for utilities with all services and a pretty heavy utility use. Let's talk about eating out or going out in Plymouth. Now, Plymouth crushes when it comes to food downtown. There are not a lot of chains, but there are a lot of options. I looked at it using ChatGPT what the average meal was with one drink in Plymouth, and I think ChatGPT has some updating to do. It said like 20 bucks. That's way off. One place I really like is Barrio Casino for Mexican. It's a fairly large place with a huge menu. Most of the dinner items here are between $12 and $15 a plate. It's not the most expensive place, but it is super tasty. I average about $80 per visit for 2 people. And to be frank, I'm not a big drinker at all, so factoring that in, but I do go for all the plates. I mean, I get the appetizer, the meal, the dessert. Sometimes I'll get 2 meals if something really catches my eye, and then I've got leftovers for tomorrow. Now, Campari's on the park is great and a bit more expensive. If you get the chance, eat outside because, well, it's Campari's on the park, so you can overlook the park and whatever's happening there, whether there's a festival, a fair, or live music. Now, expect a little closer to $150 for 2 here, and a severely underrated place that I like is Aqua, which is actually north of downtown a little bit. Way easier to park at because it has its own parking lot, unlike most places downtown. And I think it might have been a big boy before. It kind of looks like one, and if anybody knows what this place used to be, throw it in the comments. I'd really like to know. That's one thing I don't remember. Now, if you go there, get the steak. Just period. I know they've got like 8 kinds. They're all great. Enough said. Last up, we're going to talk about property taxes, which is a drag, but it's got to be done. For a lot of people coming in from out of state, the property taxes can be a bit of a sticker shock. In Michigan, we're the 14th highest state for property taxes, but a lot of that is skewed up because of cities like Detroit and Pontiac and Flint that have outrageous millage rates. In the city of Plymouth, the millage rate is currently 42.94. In the township, it's about 25% less at 32.86. Now, I know millage rates don't mean a lot, so we're going to break that down a little simpler. In this area here in Plymouth, $43 is paid per year for every $1,000 of taxable value, which is generally speaking about half the property's actual value. So if you buy a home at the average sales price here in Plymouth of $470,000, divide it by 2 to get $235,000. Divide that number by 100 to get 235. You're chopping off the zeros. Now multiply that by 43 or 33, depending on if you're in the township or the city, to get $10,500 or $7,700 per year respectively. But because most people pay their taxes on their mortgage, it can be around $650 a month to $900 a month respectively, depending if you're in the township or the city. Okay, we got there. Now, Plymouth taxes are outrageously high, but Plymouth does have excellent city services and amazing parks. Now, for reference, the same home in other cities in Michigan would average around $6,200 per year in taxes, and nationally that same home would be at $4,600 per year annually. Now also, we're going to put a link below in the description to the Michigan property tax estimator so you can play around with it, and it covers the whole state. You can see where those taxes sit for the various homes you're looking at. All right, so that was a high-level overview of the cost of living in Plymouth. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below, or feel free to reach out to me directly anytime. I can answer pretty much any question because we do a lot of work in the city of Plymouth. Also, if you've got an upcoming move that's 6 months or more away, I'll put my Calendly link below so you can set up a time to chat on the phone or get on a Zoom to get to know each other a little bit, see if we're a great fit to work with, or match you up with one of my area specialists that best fit your lifestyle goals and your needs. Thank you again, and see you on the next video.